What do you think, Canty?
Greeny, this would all be so much simpler had Ryan Pace, their general manager, done the right thing in 2017 and drafted Deshaun Watson rather than go with Mitch Trubisky. But ultimately, this is about the job security of the general manager and the head coach. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, they don't have a whole lot of time. They backdoored their way into the postseason this past year because the NFC West cannibalized themselves, the NFC South was top-heavy, and the NFC East was historically bad. So I don't know that Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles' quarterback play is going to put you in a position where you can get back to the postseason. So I think you got to try to find an upgrade, and Deshaun Watson is the upgrade of all upgrades this offseason. If you can make the deal happen, then go ahead and leverage the organization to the hill and send that compensation to Houston and make the trade.
Did you see that note that Hembo put up there? They're the only franchise to never have a 4,000-yard passer. They are a founding franchise of the National Football League. They have been around as long as the sport has been played. Field Yates, what do you think of this one?
Greeny, if this trade ever came to life, the minute Shefty tweeted it, Deshaun Watson becomes the greatest quarterback in Bears franchise history. So far on your list, I've semi-agree with a couple of the ideas. If anybody disagrees with the idea that the Bears need to be all in to the max on Deshaun Watson, then they are just ignoring facts or they are a Packers fan. That's the only way that you wouldn't be on board with this proposed trade.
I would say that candidly, that just the fact we are talking about this is already the best thing that's ever happened to the Bears quarterback situation in their history. Very quickly, Field, how does it work? I mean, how does the deal sound as far as that's concerned? The Bears don't have. We keep talking about the Jets have all these picks, the Dolphins have all these picks. The Bears are not in that kind of situation. Can they make a deal that the Texans will be able to live with?
Yeah, they're going to have to do this, Greeny. 3 first-round picks. And they're going to have to find any appealing young player on a rookie contract on their roster and say, Houston, does this player appeal to you? Jalen Johnson, their second-round pick last year out of Utah, good young cornerback. That's the kind of capital you're going to have to be looking at. 3 first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, and multiple starters on rookie contracts. Otherwise, it's a non-starter for Houston. But if I'm Ryan Pace, I'm not taking no for an answer. I am calling Nick Caserio every hour of the day until a deal is done with Deshaun Watson one way or another.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And it's worth reminding, again, the Bears and Ryan Pace did bypass not only Deshaun Watson, but also Patrick Mahomes in that draft that year to trade up to take Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, my next on my green list of things that could, should, or will happen this offseason is that I've come to the conclusion the New York Jets should try one more season with Sam Darnold as their quarterback and trade the number 2 pick in this draft. Sam Darnold has never been surrounded by anything that would give a quarterback a chance to succeed. He's had terrible coaching. He's had terrible talent around him. He's had no opportunity whatsoever to succeed. And here's further reason why I am somewhat skeptical of the Jets taking a quarterback in this draft. Mel Kiper, in responding to a question on a mailbag, was asked to look at this year's draft class and last year's. And outside of Trevor Lawrence, he likes all of last year's quarterbacks better than all of this year's. So if Zach Wilson, who was the presumptive number 2 pick, is at best a 50-50 proposition, I think so is Darnold. And you could get a king's ransom for that second pick. Now, Chris Canty hosts a local talk show in New York City on ESPN New York, and the second I said this, I saw your head go like this.
Yeah, Greeny,
go ahead, why?
My mind is about to explode, because I thought you were with me with the Jets taking a quarterback with the second overall pick. My biggest thing with Sam Darnold is we come up with all of these excuses, and maybe there are more reasons as to why he hasn't had success in his first 3 years with the Jets. But those reasons don't help you figure out whether or not he can play quarterback in the NFL. And that's the biggest thing. Like the value proposition that you have with the second overall pick, the Jets can take the chance on the potential of Zach Wilson, a guy that we haven't seen fail in the NFL, versus rolling the dice with Sam Darnold again and betting that Rob Saleh and Joe Douglas can get him fixed. I just think it's too big of a risk for Joe Douglas to take. Everybody recognizes that Sam Darnold is not Joe Douglas's quarterback. He didn't draft him. But the minute that he passes on taking a quarterback with the second overall pick, Sam Darnold and Joe Douglas are married together.
Can I just say this, though, in terms of compensation? Hembo sent this to me, so I'm reading this off of my phone because we were talking about this. The last time a team traded for the second pick in the draft, the Cleveland Browns, in exchange in that deal that turned out to be Carson Wentz, the Browns got 2 1s, a 2, a 3, and a 4. That's the value of the second pick. So if you're the Jets, would you rather have Sam Darnold and something like that, or the 50-50 proposition that is the kid in the draft?
No, I would go with the 50-50 proposition because quarterback is the most important position in the sport. It's the most important position in all of team sports. If you don't have a quarterback, it's hard to win in the National Football League. The Cleveland Browns didn't start winning until they figured out the issue of quarterback with Baker Mayfield. So that just speaks to the importance of the position. If you don't have a quarterback, it's going to be hard to win. The Jets got to find a quarterback. I don't think Sam Darnold is the answer.
Okay, you're much bigger than me, so I'm going to stop yelling at you and let me go over here to Field Yates, who is the only person I know who's not bigger than me. Yates, what do you think of this?
First of all, Greeny, I've been working out, so don't get too confident over there. But, Greeny, it took the Browns 4 years to get to the playoffs after making that trade, which also included multiple head coach and general manager changes. I want you, Greeny, to enjoy your Sundays on the couch with your son. I want you to have something to look forward to when you watch Jets football games on Sunday. The Jets need to trade or make a move at number 2 for a quarterback and then figure out whatever it is with Sam Darnold, trading him away or keeping him on the roster as a backup, which seems unlikely. You need to restart the clock here. Sam Darnold is 1 year away from being on the hook for the Jets for $20 million on a fifth-year option or potentially more on an extension. If I'm the Jets, restart the clock. And I understand that you could acquire a ton of extra picks if you trade pick number 2. You've already got a ton of extra picks and all this cap space. You could draft Zach Wilson, sign a premium wide receiver in free agency. You've got 3 additional first-round picks between this year and next. If I'm the Jets, I'm restarting the clock. I'm starting fresh. I have my quarterback to build around going forward, and it's the pick that Joe Douglas is responsible for.
All right, so we're 0 for 2. Ninko, what do you think?
So stability and confidence, those two factors, stability and confidence, help a football player. They actually make a football player. And if you don't have stability and confidence, then you're a shell of what you should be. And Sam Darnold has not had stability, and he's lost his confidence. And we saw that all in the NFL films where you say, I'm seeing ghosts out here. He hasn't had the head coaching. He hasn't had the coordinators. He hasn't had the confidence in himself. So I feel that if he does get that stability and he gets his confidence back, he could be a good quarterback. So I'm saying stay with Sam Darnold, build around him with the money that you have in your draft picks, and see what you got.
There we go. It took a former Patriot to make some sense in this conversation about the Jets. All right, we're just getting started as we roll along on this day on Get Up. Here's what's coming. Baker Mayfield, a very good year for the Browns, led them to the playoffs, but one of